On this episode, we're going to put the Mustang up on the lift, and then we're going to pull the pan gasket down, reseal it with some RTV, and put it back up to arrest the oil. So today's effort is going to be pretty rudimentary. We did a trans flush quite a while back on the 67 and resealed the pan gasket, which was already leaking like a sieve, getting all up on the exhaust and just smelling horrible when you get out and drive the car. Well, we got into a debate on whether we use RTV or don't use RTV on the seal. There's a lot of argument why not to use RTV, especially if you don't want it oozing in and breaking off the transmission and getting caught up on the sump. So I decided not to use RTV when I put the new seal in. Well, we also tried to straighten the pan gasket or pan itself out, because it did have some puckering and stuff, and we know on the original pan that is a risk when you over tighten. So we put that up with the new gasket, and I kind of just kept tightening a little bit at a time. Well, it's still leaking. It's leaving a puddle on the garage floor, and it's still getting on the exhaust. So this time we're going to put a new gasket on the pan, and this time we're going to RTV it. We're going to do a thin layer, RTV it, stick that bad boy back on there, and make sure that we don't have any more issues with the transmission fluid leaking on here. Also going to do some cleaning underneath to make sure that we get as much of the residue off so we can quit smelling. And for the bigger part, I don't want to hear Darlene complain about, oh, your car stinks whenever you're driving it with that stuff getting on the exhaust. So we'll try to mitigate that as well. So here we go, short video, well, simple video, but you know how that goes around here. It doesn't always go simple. And we may even have an update on Delta here today as well. We'll cover a little bit of what the efforts, continuing on that with the wiring and how that looks. And just as a reminder, everyone, Delta is this 1977 Ford pickup truck that my friend Richard Bacon, Debbie Bacon has. This is one that he pulled out of Sarasota from a friend of his. And anyway, we're building it. He's doing all the work on it. Richard's a master at all this custom work and stuff. He just does it for himself, so don't try to hire him. He is not up for hire. He only works on his own vehicles. But he did the paint job on this, the scheme, the teal over cream. He's got the big block in there that's been rebuilt, and now they're doing all the wiring and stuff. He's done all the body work on there. I think he welded up about 180 something holes in this bed by the time it was all said and done. Apparently it was used for carpet practice. So anyways, we'll also cover some of that today, and the progress that he's making on Delta. It's coming along actually quite nicely. Okay, so probably what's going to take the longest on this, obviously, is going to be draining the fluid out of the transmission. Now, most people would probably just unhook the pan, dump it in, but I, don't want to make too much of a mess, and I'm not in a hurry, so I'm going to let it drain slow. This is what I did the first time when we did a flush on the transmission. Plus, this is all brand new fluid, and when I say brand new fluid, it's just a few months old, so my plan is to recover 90% of this, put it back in the trans. There's no reason why to waste it. I just realized I didn't have my microphone in for that last piece, so you may or may not have heard. I think you could. But real quick, I was just saying that when I loosen these, I start with the front, start letting that drain a little bit. Then I take these out as I loosen these a little bit. Once we break the seal and it drains for a little bit, then I loosen each set all the way to the end of the threads and then just crack the weight off of these. That lets that pan down a little slower, and then you can drain more fluid. Then I take these set out and then the same thing here, all the way to the end of the thread, and then just enough, about half a turn, and then I crack the weight off of the back. That lets the pan down even more and drain more out. So I don't know if we've ever really took a tour underneath the car too much. Not a lot to see here. This is no show queen by any chance, but all the suspension has all been redone. Upper lowers, control arms, Shelby drop, of course. You can see for the angle of the uppers that we did that. We did do a flush on the, or transmission, no, oil change on the engine along with the trans drain and new fluid, and we put a new drain plug in this because the old one was leaking. Now, you remember we did a rear seal on this not too long ago, and it is unfortunate, but we do still have a little bit of a rear main seal leak here even after redoing it. Now the pan itself doesn't leak, although I get a couple drops of oil somewhere on the floor from this vicinity, and I was looking at that, and I really don't think it's coming from the trans pan. If you really want to know the truth, I think it's coming from the timing chain cover, because it gets some oil residue. It doesn't look like enough to drip, but this pan's not wet, and maybe it's just one of those things I just need to go back through and tighten again. Again, just like the trans pan, the oil pan, you don't want to over tighten. We all know that. Pucker it and it'll start leaking, but who knows, maybe I need to go back through that, and maybe I'll do that while it's on the lift. But regardless, yeah, my hooker headers, old school, Flowmaster 40s, aluminum and exhaust. Back to my duals. There's my new fuel tank that we put in. We put it on the road. Redid all this. Bearings, brake lines, right? Shocks, 20 something, 40 years old, I don't know. We ran aluminum brake and fuel lines all the way forward. Tried to do a lot of things right. Fork box was all redone. It was rotted. So here we go. This is where the story kind of gets interesting. Now, I'm going to come back to this because everyone's going to look at that and go, my God. Okay, well, we're going to come back to that. When my dad bought this back in 88, 89, we noticed that these floors had been patched. We were just talking today, we think that might actually be fiberglass instead of metal. It's been like that for 36 plus years or longer. I have driven this in plenty of rainstorms. The floors never get wet. So this is luckily all sealed. It's not rusting. So good on that. So we left it alone. This is a driver. It shows well. It's a driver. It's perfectly imperfect for me, and I am absolutely okay about that. These are probably the one thing that really worry the hell out of me. We probably should have spent, and it's a ton of money, of course, but we should have put some effort into redoing these front rails. Well, we didn't. They're solid. They're just beat to hell. Why are they beat up like that? Well, partially, everybody wants to hook here for, back in the day, for towing them. We don't do that anymore. We hook around here or here, typically. I try to never let them hook here anymore. If it's from the rear, that's pretty simple. You know, we hit the axle. But why are these crushed? It's not from jacks. So, back in the day when I used to drive this thing all the time, I had moved over to Manatee County at some point in time where I was driving. Well, I had a lot of friends still over in Auburndale, between Winter Haven and Lakeland. And we used to fox hunt. I used to have CBs and a whip on this thing. So we would do fox hunts, and I would have participated in this car. For those who don't know what fox hunts are basically hide and seek with your vehicles using a CB to call out landmarks that you can see from where you're sitting. and I used to go back to Alverdale quite a bit and play fox hunt with this car, believe it or not. Well, and you can find yourself in anywhere. So Orange Grove, railroad tracks in an industrial area, woods, parking lots, it didn't matter, churches, beach on the lake. Well, we were over there for a Mikado show, and it was a big Mustang and Ford show. And on Saturday night, everybody wanted to play fox hunt, so I participated. I ended up knowing in the back of my mind where this one four-wheel drive was. Nobody could find him. I knew where he was. He was in an abandoned movie theater, outdoor, drive-in movie theater. And I knew he was there, and I'm like, I can't go in there and get him. Well, about 45 minutes later, I'd had enough. It's like, I know where he's at. I'm going to go find him. Well, sure enough, I go in, and I end up running this over some trees. I don't know where they had fallen, tree stumps or logs or whatever. I do not know how I didn't get stuck, but I didn't. I actually got far out. I really don't know how. But I had rolled over some of those. And that is why now you see those frames buckled up like that. I found that four-wheel drive. They were beside themselves. They said, all you trucks out there couldn't figure out where we were at, and this damn Mustang comes in and finds us. Well, I went to the show the next day and pulled a third place at the show, and I was just laughing because I said, if you knew where I was at last night, you guys would shit a brick. But anyways, that's why those are crushed, because I ran over some trees playing fox hunt with the car back in the 90s. Yeah, hey, I used to race it too. I know a lot of us have stories about that, but how many of you have stories about fox hunting in your Mustang and running over trees where four-wheel drives go and surviving it? Wonder why the frame's been a little bit or tweaked and why things didn't line up when we were putting the engine trans in. Go ahead, I'm catching you guys. Well, I was just going to ask you, do an update here on what you're doing. So Richard and Gene's been doing some wiring each day, putting the wires in the loom. Bob's over here now visiting with us and helping out with the wiring as well, doing the front harnesses up to the horns, headlights, and eventually we'll put all that in the loom once he gets it routed the way he wants. But you're having problems with what today? Power on the horns is what you're trying to figure out.
For some reason, if you disconnect the ground and run the test light, I can get them to work. As soon as those hook up to one ground, it won't work. Seems odd.
It does seem odd, yeah. The Delta's coming along. Probably the biggest thing since the last time we did a video update when we were over here working on Mason's transmission is all the wiring now has been run around the frame, over the frame, and to the rear tail lights and running lights. Gene's been running that all the way back and got that all completed, so making a lot of progress here with the wiring. Let's see if I can get underneath the truck and so you can see where the wiring has been run in its loom, run over the frame, try to make it clean, which is a good idea. I think most people aspire to that. That's the update on Delta. So there's a couple projects in parallel here in Richard's garage that's being worked today, and gracious enough to let me borrow his lift to do my job, and Bob and him are working on Delta here, trying to troubleshoot a little bit of a wiring issue. But yeah, I mean, this truck has, since it first was shown on my channel a few months ago where we were putting the bed on, it's come a long way. we beat this up pretty good, getting the edges straightened out. This was already like this. I'm not really sure what got scraped up because it was all repainted when the transmission was rebuilt, but looks like it may have just been peeling off. So I hadn't thought about it until now, but I was thinking, well, it'd be nice if I could spray this and make it look a little better. And I asked Richard if he happened to have any Ford blue. He does. It's a little brighter than what that is, but that's okay. I just want to dust it and make it look, you know, better than what it is. Not that anybody's really seeing it. I see it, so, but Bob's already made a comment. What'd you beat your can get up for? So now that somebody has seen it, now I gotta do something about it. I'll put a coat on here and let it dry. I'll put a second coat on there and let it dry, and then we'll put the pan onto the transmission. We have an update on Mason's transmission that we're going to quickly show you here. The transmission was finally put back into the car with the right torque converter that matched the flex plate that was on the 4.6 V8 that's in it. And Richard Bacon was kind enough in my absence to take video and final thoughts of that project. So here we go with the update and the finality of that effort.
Okay, we got the new converter, which had a different bolt pattern than what we originally had. We've got it back up on the jack stand with the new converter installed. 3 clicks, about a 1/4 inch clearance between the front of the bell housing and the nub right here. So we're ready to go. So stay tuned for further development. And you may be wondering why we have 2x4s on top of the transmission jack. Because somebody decided to take and put a sump in the bottom of the pan, so now you can't lay the transmission flat on this thing, jack. Here's something a lot of people forget. They forget to put this plate in on a Ford. It has to go on the engine before you put it in the transmission, and it's what centers everything for the starter and everything else. Just a note for people that have never done it. We're back. If you take your flex plate off, make sure you mark it, because it only goes on one way. You just have to keep spinning it and hoping you get the right one, but mark it first. Make the job a lot easier. Don't forget to put Loctite on those bolts. Very important. So Gene and I got the transmission up, 5 bolts in, 4 converter bolts, and about, once we got it underneath the car, about 30 minutes, went in slick. Our 2 midnight crew guys showed up an hour and a half later as usual, and they are tightening up the top 2 bolts on the transmission and the dipstick. So we're going to let them do the flunky work while the master mechanics sit and take a break. Okay, final thoughts on this 98 Mustang GT convertible. My final thought is I don't want to own one after replacing the transmission with a bunch of my help, not just me. But anyway, you have a cross member for a convertible because you don't have a roof, as you can see, and but you can see all the cats and all that. The biggest problem is, let me turn around here, is your starter is way up there, and trying to get the exhaust off, it's just not a very well engineered idea, but that's just my feeling. But anyway, but it turned out really good. Didn't take very long. So everything in the back end's all hooked up, and we're ready to let this baby down and fire it up.
Well, we have filled up the trans as far as we can go with pretty much what we took out of it. It's just above the add mark on the dipstick. So we'll drive it home, check it tomorrow, get it up to operating temperature. But so far so good. As of right now, there's no drips on the floor except for what little bit I spilled out of the funnel. So we'll see how the underneath looks when we get done. And another update on the 67 is how is it running since we fixed the vacuum leak. So as you know, in the previous video, we ended up taking off the phenolic, or could be a thermoplastic. May not have been phenolic. A little debate on that, on whether it was. It was labeled phenolic. That's all I know. Regardless, we had a vacuum leak, as we know. We put a new aluminum spacer between the carb and the intake, and she's been running fantastic ever since. So I've been out several times now. Even today, cold start, feather the gas a little bit, and then she's just idling just fine. Going down the road is great. The throttle response is just as smooth as it should be. So we've probably, on this trip to here, is probably the 4th time it's been on the road since that repair, and I'm digging it. It's really running good. So I think we may have finally figured out the problem that has been giving us the idle issue for the last year or so, and it's just been a slow process because there's been little things here and there that I've tried over time to kind of improve it. Well, this seems to have done it. So looks like a new spacer was the answer, and not a phenolic one, but another aluminum. So anyways, really happy that she's running really good. Well, we're back on the road. We got all the transmission fluid back in, but just a few drops, and we are just above the add mark on the dipstick. And looked underneath the car again one more time and didn't see anything obvious. And remember, we were leaving a puddle behind. Doesn't mean it was dripping right that second when I was before, but thought pattern now is we have the fan back up, new gasket. This is actually not a quartz gasket. This is more of a, looks like a rubber or hybrid felt. It's not quartz, but we put the oil resistant RTV, the ultra black on it, and ran it. Doesn't look like we're seeing anything, but of course now we're out for the first drive heading home, and we'll know better then after I get home whether it's leaking or not. Fortunately, I do have some place I have got to be. Actually have to leave in almost 1 hour, actually less than that now, so I may not have a chance to crawl under the car when I get home. I think I'm going to be doing the flight of the Bumblebee, but we will check the trans level, fluid level tomorrow. We'll see if we've got any leakage, but we straightened out the lips, the edges on the oil pan. No matter how much I was trying it for a while to hammer out where the bolts go in, it puckered, and then one corner was unfortunately just still bent up just a little bit. Now what I did, and then that's when Richard said, "Hey, let's get this piece of iron and or steel or whatever, that piece of metal that he got out of the cabinet. Let's put it on a block of wood. Let's see if we can get that ironed out." And that straightened out the edges a lot better. So it wasn't perfect, but it was 100% better than what it was. And then we figured the gasket has actually got some good thickness on it. So between the gasket and the RTV, that should take care of anything beyond that. So we thank you guys for following us today. Yes, it was a routine maintenance, but you know, one that we hope you guys picked up some tips. Like I said, most of us car people know how to do this. Some of us don't. Some people are starting out. That's why we do these videos. So if you've been under car to do some of our routine maintenance, or sometimes it's larger jobs. That's why we do this. So hopefully we can show you, and then you can go back and work on your cars and make progress and be able to say, "Hey, I fixed that, I did that." So anyways, you guys, thank you for supporting us and watching us, and have a blessed day, and we will see you on the streets.